Hi, I'm Oliver Burkeman in the studio recording my new audiobook, Meditations for Mortals. It's a book that brings themes at the heart of my bestseller 4,000 Weeks, themes like our finite time, the lure of distraction, the trap of productivity, into our daily lives, and offers a powerful new way to take action on what counts that I call imperfectionism. This is an audiobook about how the world opens up once you realize you're never going to sort your life out. It's about how marvelously productive you become when you give up the grim-faced quest to make yourself more and more productive, and how much easier it gets to do bold and important things once you accept that you'll never get around to doing more than a handful of them, and that, strictly speaking, you don't absolutely need to do any of them at all. Part of the thing that's always bothered me about books that claim they're going to help people change their lives in some way is that you sort of read them and then you forget about them. Maybe there's a little bit of a shift in perspective, but then it fades in a couple of days. So what I really wanted to try to do here, inevitably imperfectly, I'm sure, is to offer a book that could really sort of get under people's skin and into their bones and stay there. Especially if, for example, you do choose to listen to it at the suggested pace of one chapter a day for 4 weeks. My goal for it is that it would really sort of embed itself in people's lives and change in a small but really concrete way how they actually live out their lives. That's a really interesting question because it is one of those things, I think, that just it takes the time it takes, right? It's not something where I get to control how much of my time it uses up. It's one of those things where you just have to sort of give yourself to the experience of, okay, it's going to take this many hours to read this thing. And I think that is actually quite a useful lesson for all sorts of things in life where we're trying to force the pace and hurry things up, and actually we can't, and if we did, the result would be worse. Whatever choice you make, so long as you make it in the spirit of facing the consequences, the result will be freedom in the only sense that finite humans ever get to enjoy it. Not freedom from limitation, which is something we unfortunately never get to experience, but freedom in limitation. Freedom to examine the trade-offs, because there will always be trade-offs, and then to opt for whichever trade-off you like. One of the things I find most rewarding about writing about this kind of material is that people get in touch to say it's as if I was sort of inside their heads, right? That I've really specifically managed to pinpoint their anxieties, their hang-ups, the difficulties they face when it comes to time and distraction and procrastination and all the rest of it. And I think that the audiobook, 4,000 Weeks, really maybe was a key example of that because of the way that when you're listening to somebody talk about this material, it's very sort of intimate. They're with you talking about it and discussing it. I do think that something that people find really helpful, and I find really helpful as well as a reader and a listener, is not just the tools and techniques and solutions, of which there are plenty in 4,000 Weeks, but just that sense that somebody else is articulating what it's like to be a human with limited time in the modern world. And there's an awful lot of empowerment and solace and sanity just in that shared experience, I think. Very well then, here you are. Here we all are. Now, what might be some good things to do with your time? Meditations for Mortals is available wherever you get your audiobooks.